maybe 10 years ago, there was a lot of talk about the importance of education and the importance of the rising gen. That talk has turned into action, in my opinion. So the more recent conversations that I've had with family offices, they're actually looking at spending and investing, and they actually see it as an investment in the family, not a cost.
Hello and welcome to the FT Studios in London for the latest episode of PWM Family Matters. I'm delighted to be joined today by Dino De Vita, President of Global Family and Private Offices at Northern Trust Wealth Management. Dino, great to have you.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Dino, are family offices more aware of the importance of generational governance, education, emotional development?
The family office can be a mechanism to keep a thread across the family legacy, right? So it can help the family stay together. There are two ways you can do that. One is through really good, strong, multi-generational governance, where you have members on committees and involved in governance from every generation. That helps to bring the family together, making decisions. I mean, essentially that is what governance is. It's how you make decisions. So that's one. And the other is education. So every office we've seen that has had success around keeping the family together, keeping the family office together, they have those two components. So it's really strong multi-generational governance, but then a really good, strong, formal education program for the rising gen. Sometimes the family office was designed for the first generation, the principal, right? If it's designed solely for that purpose, sometimes the next generation comes in and they don't feel like the family office was designed for them. They feel like they're outside looking into the family office. To make it theirs, they have to feel like they're involved in the decision-making process.
And how can parents find the right balance between shielding their kids from the pressures of wealth and being open and inclusive?
As a parent myself, I struggle with that. It's all relative, but I deal with the same issues. But I think what's important, what I've seen successful, is rather than shelter your kids from the family office or your wealth as a family, I think it's important to have those conversations early and consistently with your kids. And that can start as early as age 10, right? It's a different conversation with a 10-year-old than it might be with an 18-year-old. But the sooner you have those conversations, again, the sooner they feel like they're part of the family, they're part of the family office, so that as they grow into adulthood, they do already feel like this family office is for them. And it's designed for them, and it's helped them.
So looking at the skill sets of wealth managers and family office advisors, how should they evolve to better address these emotional challenges like fear, entitlement, and questions of purpose among heirs?
The skill set, the IQ portion is important. Those are table stakes. I'm seeing more and more family offices when they look to bring in important staff into the office. The IQ part is required, but they're really focused on the EQ. So you need people that have, like I said, the technical expertise to do their jobs, but with a level of EQ that allows them to communicate with different levels of an understanding, different generations. That's a really rare skill set, but an important one. And I see more family offices as they look to bring in staff looking at EQ more than IQ.
Are family offices increasingly turning to external specialists, providers for support with education, mentoring, or emotional development? Or are they addressing these areas, internally?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. We offer those resources to our clients around education, and then even backing up further, we help clients even determine what is the family's mission statement, value statement. What does the family want to accomplish? And we help the family put those things in writing. Some family offices partner with someone like us to do that. Others have developed that themselves. And in some cases, very robust, detailed, formal education programs. So it's a combination of both, but it's not uncommon for us to be asked to help with that process, either directly with us working with the family or indirectly through the family office.
Do you see that there are situations where it's important to bring in psychologists or coaches? So how can advisors recognize the right moment to make these referrals?
So there might be cases of family conflict resolution, and we have resources that we can bring in from outside Northern to help family offices deal with that. Family members have great intentions, but there are some dynamics that can be difficult, and in those cases it might help to have someone come in and walk the family through how you resolve those things.
And do you notice meaningful differences between legacy families and newly wealthy ones in how they approach family values, education, and governance?
So we've been coaching even early starting emerging family offices. We've been coaching them to say, look, even though it's first generation and maybe second and you have 4 people, you still have to make decisions. And the sooner you put in place governance to make decisions, the better you are for the long term. Now, what we've seen in more established offices that maybe are in 5th, 6th generations, some generations feel like they're disconnected. So they are shifting their governance to be more inclusive of multiple generations.
And how important is it for family offices to revisit their governance structures?
The best family offices have very good hygiene around this. I would say they review it annually to see if it's working. Do they have the right people? Do they have the right process to determine who is on the committees? Maybe you're not making changes, but you're validating what you have in place.
Recent research shows that families don't invest enough in things like next-gen education and governance, even though they say it's important. Is that what you see in practice? Are families now more willing to pay for these kinds of services?
Maybe 10 years ago, there was a lot of talk about the importance of education and the importance of the rising gen. That talk has turned into action, in my opinion. So the more recent conversations that I've had with family offices, they're actually looking at spending and investing, and they actually see it as an investment in the family, not a cost, because they're starting to realize that it's not only for the family office to stay intact, it's really a way to keep the family legacy in place by having involvement from all generations.
So how can families tell if their investments in generational governance, education, or emotional development are paying off, especially when the results aren't easy to measure or aren't just about money?
So we have examples of families that have hundreds of family members that are still involved in the family office, still on committees, still engaged. There's family reunions, there's family retreats every year that the family looks forward to. To me, that's the measurement. If the family is that involved and you have that many family members connected to the family office, you're doing something right. And usually when you start looking at what they've done to get there, it does come back to 2 things. And it's really good multi-generational governance, and it's a really good education program.
Dino, thanks very much for sharing your insights with us.
Yeah, thank you. Love being here.